I think we're live.
Back.
Looks like the stream is deleted on
Hey,
Facebook.
good looking.
You must be talking to me.
I am talking to you. How are you? Not to those two guys. I've been chatting with them already for a little while.
Robin, 1, 2, we went live, by the way.
Yeah, we are live now.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Designer Show on this lovely Friday, July, whatever day it is. 18th, I think, 2025.
Yep.
It's my wedding anniversary, you guys.
Oh,
I know,
happy
that's
anniversary.
awesome. Congratulations.
Thank
That's
you.
cool. Yeah, 27 big ones, huh?
Man.
Yep.
Been putting up with you a long time.
Yeah. Wow.
I know. Can you believe that?
Well, you want us to answer that?
You guys are mean.
Anyway.
I think whatever. Some people like me. Hi, everybody. As I'm getting harassed.
I got a new member. Hey, Dylan.
All right. Hey, Dylan.
Hello, Dylan.
Welcome to our show.
Hey, everybody.
All right.
Thank you, Margaret.
We got some new comments.
Is John not joining us today?
I don't know. He's.
where's
I
John?
think he said he'd be here. So he's probably trying to find an internet connection somewhere. Actually, no, he's up. He's at his home. So he has fiber optics at his place. So.
Oh, so he's just ignoring us.
Yeah. Although I think he was coming down to the Twin Cities this weekend, so that he might be somewhere else. But anyway, hopefully he'll join us.
He's always somewhere else.
Yes, he's always somewhere
He's
else.
constantly driving somewhere.
Yeah, I know. That guy puts on a lot of miles. Anyway, well, welcome. And today we're going to continue talking about what's new in X17. I think we've all been experimenting with all the different things. And Renee and I were just commenting earlier amongst ourselves that we keep finding new little things that they've added in the final release that weren't documented anywhere. So it's like, boy, they keep adding this or tweaking it. They keep doing different things, and it's really come a long way. So I hope everybody that's using it is enjoying it and getting use of some of the features that it is presenting us with. So
I'm not going to be shy about this, Chief. If you're watching this, I thought when X17 came out, it was a big dud. And now that I've used it for a while, it just keeps getting better. I really enjoy it.
I think it's a big deal. And I was on the same boat with you, Renee, when I first read the list of features that they're adding, going, what have they guys been doing all day? Yeah. And now as we get into it and we see what they've been doing a lot. They've been working really hard on this. So, and then I've been watching a lot of their videos. So again, if you go to chiefarchitect.com and go to watch their videos about the new release too, they do a very nice job on their videos. So it's another way for you to pick up on what they are adding to the program. So I don't hesitate to say, go watch them.
One of the things I keep seeing, and from a bird's eye view, I agree, is that it looks like all they did was rendering stuff. And how does that make us money? And then you really got to get in and use it before you realize, oh no, there's a lot of polished way everything's working. Yeah. And I'm definitely improving in my efficiency.
So somehow,
Renee, some way, they did some cool things.
If anybody digs deep into this program, it's you, Renee. So, I mean, coming from you, that's a really good compliment to Chief. But let's talk about one of those enhancements. Let's talk about wrapping schedules. I don't know if we've talked about that or not.
There, right there was like,
so let me.
Admission. Bam. Whole software is paid for.
So absolutely. Well, if you use schedules. I mean, if you don't use schedules, it's like no big deal. However, oops, let me go back here.
But you should be using schedules.
You should be using schedules.
They can save so much time. Unless you really like agonizing over specs. I mean, if you pay attention to your schedules, your specs are going to get done so much faster.
So the big thing we're talking about, other than that, schedules themselves are phenomenal with what they've done to them. I mean, you can add virtually anything to a schedule now and have as many different kinds of schedules and custom schedules and rearrange things. And I mean, and again, I know, Renee, you know a ton more about it than I do, and it's really something else. So, but it's called schedule wrapping. The one thing I want to show you. So when you have a schedule, it used to be you could have a long schedule because you got a lot of things on it. And it's like, oh God. So then you had to kind of cut it. You had to send two windows to the layout page and show this in the top window, and then you crop over it and show this in the bottom window. And then if you change the schedule it all. You got to go readjust it. So it was a real pain in the butt. Now all you have to do is just open the dialog for the schedule and go to columns and rows. And you got this little section here called wrapping. So that allows you to say, I want to wrap after, I'll say 10, after 10 items, I want this to wrap on another deal. So now I've got 3 rows in my schedule. And that makes it easier to put it on layout page and adjust it where you want it to be. What was that?
And you can
Robin?
create a gutter in between each one of those, which is really nice to be able to have that gutter. Where's
that? That's
Oh,
right.
you're calling it a gutter? Did you just call it a gutter?
She did.
That's what it's called.
I need you to go on to Chief Talk and be a part of a thread that ended up being 4 pages where I was arguing that it should be called gutter.
That's what it's called.
It is what it's
All right.
It's a graphic design thing.
Please,
It's,
everyone
Well-
go that. You will laugh and marvel at how ridiculous that thread's gotten.
Chief
Oh,
calls
really?
it a
So people
wrap
think it's-
schedule offset.
well, that's fair. But it is called a gutter, right? Is that what it's called?
That's what I think it's called.
Yes, it's called a gutter.
All right, there we go. We got them both covered, so you're good to go.
Do
Anyway,
show, hold on a second. You do need to show how you got the images in the schedule so small. That's what Vicky wants to know. And thank
Yeah,
you, Mike. It is in design. It's a graphic design thing.
yeah, so again, you can add these different 3D exterior, elevation, interior, and perspectives. You can add those to your schedule and just move them to the top of the schedule if you want for the
How
first
did you make them
column.
so small?
And you just adjust the column width by grabbing the little diamond right here, and you can make them smaller or larger for however you want. And that works really well.
Good.
So that's how you make them smaller so that you're not taking up so much room with big, and those still do a pretty good job of indicating which item it is
Right.
in your plan. And then as long as we're in this mode, let's, so you want to find that item in your plan, go down here and click that little page with a magnifying glass, and that will take you to your plan and show you, and it'll highlight what that item is. So that was that door right there. So that's pretty cool too. And then you can also, if you want to just edit something, so I want to go edit that item, I want to make a change to something here. There you just go to this icon, looks like a little schedule, open door schedule, and that'll take you to that actual item. You can edit it now from the schedule, which again is another nice thing. Plus you can grab these items, you can grab them and rearrange them. You can click on this and tell Chief to automatically renumber them. I mean, there's just so many different things you can do with the schedules now. Not even to mention in the items themselves, you can specify, so many different parameters and which schedule it's going to be on and all that. So it's really, Chief's done an amazing job with schedules.
And if you guys have not really gone into scheduling, really paying attention to schedules, I think it's probably my favorite part of Chief. The things that you can do and how you can get your specifications written sooner and easier, and it's just brilliant. It's really fabulous, and this wrapping thing is fabulous. Hey, John.
Hi.
Hi. Nice to see you.
It's good to be seen.
Hey, John.
It's good to see you guys too.
Pin comment.
Mike said a comment. He's worked on plans where he puts the schedule on the elevations. Yeah, that's a good way to do it. So you could have a different schedule for every elevation.
Oh, yeah.
You just by creating custom schedules. Some people work with schedules where they put the first floor windows and doors on the first floor plan, and then they have a second floor schedule for the second floor plan. So again, that's part of just creating 2 schedules and just tell the schedule which floor of items to include in that schedule.
I do that
One of
with
the common problems that comes up with a schedule is that you end up with 2 indicators at a window because you have 2 schedules. Have they now corrected that so you can have multiple schedules in your plan?
They have.
If you're telling it to put floor 1 windows on this schedule and floor 2 windows on this schedule, then it doesn't double them up.
Right. I use that on my cabinet elevations. I will have pages, specifications, or schedules on an elevation, especially when I have really complicated cabinets with lots of accessories. Then I will put a schedule on an elevation page, attach it to that. Yeah.
I also have a video on my YouTube that's about scripting in or other methods for having duplicate items in multiple items in multiple schedules with only one schedule number.
Yeah.
So there are ways to do it.
Yes. Have you guys been noticing the new temporary dimensions? Remember,
no, why don't you show those?
When you would click on something and you get these temporary dimensions, we used to have one setting for the temporary dimensions, period. In this version, they've added the temporary dimensions to the dimensioning tool. So now you've got a setting here within each of the different kinds of dimensions you create called setup temporary. So now you could say, so in your, let's say for your cabinets, for example, the only dimension you want to get are cabinets. You don't want to do the windows or anything. You just want cabinets. So when you switch to that view that you're working on, switch to that one, and I go to now I double click on my dimension icon, and I go to set up temporary. I can just turn off everything except, so I get rid of my openings, CAD objects, fixtures. Well, maybe you want that, furniture.
Turn off corners. Just keep sides. Get rid of corners. There you go.
So now when you're doing your cabinets and you click on edges, you're only getting the cabinet dimension.
That's really sweet.
So you see there, it's just doing that. It's not picking up that window anymore or any other things.
Nice.
And if I switch back to my other view, now I'm going to get the cabinets and all the other dimension settings that I have set up for that. So
wow.
That's pretty, I like that. That's one thing that used to bug me about temporary dimensions is you had one setting for everything. It's like, what good is that?
One of the things that's always bugged me about temporary dimensions is the differing font sizes depending on the distance between objects. So has that one been corrected as well?
I don't know.
Say it again.
Different font size?
If you pull a dimension across multiple objects, then the font and larger space is bigger than the font in a smaller space.
Oh, which you can see there because when you're on the other window, if you go to the cabinet to the right of see how the two and that what you mean? You have the 2 foot and then obviously they haven't changed that, Kevin.
No.
Well, wondering, it doesn't look like it picks up.
Well, I have a method for that.
All right, what's your method?
That's just you can do the automatic leader, and you could set your automatic if you're going to use font as large as Dan's using, set your automatic leader minimum width to be greater, and then it will pop out a leader for that as opposed to trying to shrink it into that space.
I thought I had that.
But it's a temporary dimension. Who cares?
But it is. You're at 2 foot. It just happens to be that you've got a fraction in there as well. So maybe that doesn't solve for that.
That's under primary.
I'm not blind, so I don't have this problem.
Oh, shut up.
As I sit here with my trifocals on.
Well, boys. I'm sorry. Doesn't Renee have glasses on?
Yeah, to save my eyes. This is what you guys should have been doing.
now, boys, play nice.
Yeah. Where's that setting again to set up that arrows that pop off?
I think it's in the general panel.
No, so what you have to do is first to change the arrows in there. Yeah, there.
Match dimension. I do have that set up.
You can change that.
Yeah, but
that match dimension so it doesn't match it.
Because I thought it popped off of there when I did these before.
Well, here, while you discover that, I'm going to switch to my screen. I'm going to show something real quick about.
So put it back and then zoom in and out on it once, Dan.
Do what now?
Get the temporary.
No,
it isn't changing with the
zoom.
It's
not good. I've seen it happen. It's just like, why is it not happening now? So anyway, Renee, you wanted to show something?
Yeah, I'm going to switch, and we're going to have to toggle on John and Kevin.
But you guys, you do have to show that the dimension electrical objects by type is my favorite. That's the one I requested personally.
Yeah, we're not going to talk about that one.
Oh, come on.
So something that I love to have and is not out of the box is the active dimension default control. And I'm just going to show you guys how to put that on your toolbar if you don't have it. is I'm going to right click on my toolbar anywhere in a blank space. So we want to find a little blank space, right click on it, and you can get to customize toolbars. Okay. Customize toolbars. That's going to bring up this dialog box, and we would search active dimension. You can just search active dim, and you're going to see this guy right here. And you would click and drag, and you want to just drag this to an empty space on your toolbar. And that's going to drop
add it. Or you could also add it to another toolbar if you wanted to.
Yeah, if you want to, you could add it to another toolbar. Yeah. And so here we go. This is the active dimension default control. And I want you to notice that my active dimension default is Rab's favorite -NC. What does that mean? That means new construction, which means that it's dimensioning to my main layer.
Framing members.
But hey, on the fly, if I want to switch it to remodel, I can. And now it's going to be to surface. So it's a really fast and easy way to change what dimensioning tools you're using.
And you set it up so your temporary dimension does that. You
Yeah.
set it up in that dimension default. That's really smart.
And so like another use case for this is that oftentimes I might be just drawing a little molding profile and it's got to be this small, you know, and it's this tiny little thing and I'm trying to click on it and maybe I'm getting dimensions that are just too large for what I'm looking at. So I've done the work to put in some other, you know, dimension defaults to make stuff like that easier. So and
now the only downside with that though is if you wanted to dimension a cabinet now and you wanted that to be on the cabinet plan, it's going to ask you to turn that layer on.
Oh, if you wanted a dimension to be on a specific layer, yeah, it would. Yeah. But you know, that's kind of why I set up my plan views to be working plan views versus print plan views. So I'm free to mess up my layer sets in the working views and not worry that the print views are going to get affected by it. And then the other thing that's, you know, I put this in as a request, but it hasn't been done yet, which is that dimension default control is not something that will do anything in a 3D view. So if we want to change what dimension default we're using in a 3D view, we have to go in and edit our active view. So we're going to have to edit our active view, and in selected defaults, that's where you're going to change your active dimension default if you want to change what you're using on the fly. The only other way to do that is build that into a default set so that you can change default sets and it's changing dimensions for you as a drop-down menu.
All right, cool.
And by the way, while we're here, here's a new feature. Okay, let me show this real quick. Anybody that has an NVIDIA card might not have noticed. This is one of those things that kind of slips under the radar. Is if you get into your rendering technique options, if you have an NVIDIA card, you can turn on DLSS. And so this is a live denoising that's done on the graphics card, whereas other...
I noticed that in upgrading my drivers, that they mentioned that was one of the new features from NVIDIA. So Chief has captured that feature, poof, and plugged it in.
So when I have that turned off, now I'm denoising on the CPU itself, okay? And we're getting this, you know, fuzzy screen going on until it irons out all of its samples. But if I have it turned on, now it is real-time denoising on the card itself. And for a massive project like this, it just flies.
Is that cool or what?
Yeah. I mean, no problems here.
Yeah,
so.
that's phenomenal. So
for you Mac users, I did check into it, and it is not supported. DLSS is not supported for the M series Macs. So not there. It only works for the NVIDIA cards.
Gotcha. Dan,
so I have a question about dimensioning cabinet.
What was that? Oh, here I was gonna. Yeah, let me show something real quick, and then we'll answer that question. So, okay, Robin.
This is my favorite thing.
We just keep
electrical
on John.
Here's what Robin is so excited about. Okay, so electrical gives you the option to turn on, so you could just dimension those. Before it was just electrical, one item.
Yeah.
So you couldn't separate it out into different kinds of dimensions, and now you can.
The reason
turn
why I
those
use
on.
that is I do really detailed lighting plans, and I do dimension my lighting, and that makes it so much easier.
I bet.
That's really cool.
That's
yeah,
great.
It's a
I like that
brilliant.
too.
It's brilliant.
Those of us
Yeah.
who do interior architecture, yeah, that's great.
Yeah, it's
Yes.
great.
So I have
That
a
was
question about dimensioning a cabinet with an applied end on it. I want to dimension to the applied end, not to the cabinet.
You can.
Any way to get that so you can snap to the applied end?
I don't know. Let's see.
Mike, will you add? So Dan, put an applied end on the right side of there.
Let's see.
You have to
so
go to
that,
front, sides, and back.
and go to the
Change that to right.
left to.
Yeah, fine.
What do we want? We want.
No, you don't want that.
panel,
You need to do custom face, and then add a cabinet to it. Go under blank area. Oh, just under blank area. Yeah, just change that. I think now you're going to add a new one to it. Put a cabinet door on it. Just put a door on it.
Door. I'll put a auto door. Okay.
Okay, and now turn your cabinet a little. Let's see if it added that.
I don't think it added something. Didn't give it a.
Yeah, just change that. Just hit that and change that cabinet right there. No. Click on blank area, number 2, and in the drop-down menu, just add a door.
Door panel. There we go. Now
Okay.
it's sticking out, and that should
So
show
you
on the
actually
floor plan.
You actually replaced the side on that one, right?
You did. You replaced it. You didn't add a panel. You
No,
replaced
he did add it. No, he did add it. It's just not showing because now you have to go to your defaults. Now you have to go to see it. He did add it. If you look at the front of it, but it's not showing on the plans because on your defaults you don't have it set up to show that. So if you go to your defaults and cabinets, then it'll show it on the plan. I love it when I can show you guys something. Default.
That's why you're here. So if I go to, you're
wrench.
talking layers or default?
Nope. You have to go to your wrench.
The
default.
wrench.
Go to your
I'm going to my wrench. There we go.
And then go to cabinets.
Go to cabinets.
Up.
C.
And hit general cabinet. And then it's one of those buttons that says show partial
door and drawer.
Yeah, closed doors. Show that one. Hit OK. And done.
Oh, look at that.
And now you'll see it. Thank you. And now you should be able to dimension to it.
All right.
Because it's on the right hand side, or it's on the right hand side of that cabinet, or left hand side. I don't know.
left hand
where it
side.
is.
But I still think you replaced the side of the cabinet. You didn't add a panel.
Yeah. I'm not getting anything.
You did, which works in the situation I'm working with, but
you did.
Yeah, if you're
see,
actually,
it's there.
It's
Look,
not,
see,
it's not snapping to the panel.
No,
Here.
it's not.
Oh,
No, it was not snapping to the panel. Oops.
So the case where I have is I want basically to replace the end so that it actually snaps to the.
You now open up your dimensions. Open up your dimension and see if it's doing that, Dan.
I was trying to see if it added a panel or not.
Go to your dimension dialog box.
Which one did I do that on? That one?
That one right there. It did add. It is a panel. Notice that it is a panel. Now go to your dimension. Go to your dimension dialog box. I think you can now get that if you.
Centers, moldings, countertop, backslash, toe kick, opening, door,
Doors,
drawer,
panels. You have to have
panels.
that
Look at
selected.
yeah.
Okay, I missed that.
There we go.
I'll try it.
Talk to the kitchen and bath designer. That would be me.
That would be you. Yes. Okay.
Let's prove it.
Now you should be able to pull a dimension to it.
Well, there's already one snap to it right there.
No, it's actually snapped to the countertop.
Right.
Oh,
Need to snap it. It needs to snap to the door.
Huh. It wasn't.
The face of the door.
It's not.
To the left, right there. It's still
It's
not.
not.
Snapping, yeah.
It will. You must have not committed that change.
I did something wrong. So since I don't do a lot of cabinet work, I probably screwed something up.
Did you see, while we're on that subject though, did you see that you can adjust the width of your cabinet boxes so you can actually do a construction document? Oh, thank you, Margaret. You can now change the width of the cabinet box. So you have, so if you're working with a low end cabinet, it's going to be 1/2 inch, right? Or 1/2 inch particle board. But if you're working with a high end cabinet, it might be a 3/4 inch cabinet. So now you can change the sizes,
side and back thickness.
the sides and back, which is really nice.
The only thing I don't like about that is it only lets you uniformly change the sides, not go
You
left.
can't just change it on one side or the other.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't think you would ever do that, though.
Yes, you would. Kitchen bath designer.
When would you do that? I need an example. Tell me when you would do that.
Many times, you know, even if we want to just remove it, or maybe we've got just some kind of slight partition, or we're doing a double partition, or, you know, all kinds of different use cases for that.
I'd like to see that done, because I don't think I've ever seen that done. I mean, even when I'm doing like inset doors and we do an overlay of the style. When we do an overlay of the style, there's only still 1 3/4 inch panel in between them. So I've never seen where they would make one side thicker. Now, if you're applying a panel on the side of it, then you would have that.
Nowadays, my cabinet builders, they're just getting clever because materials cost so much. So if they can, they'll throw in a smaller panel where they don't think it's, you know, going to affect the integrity of the box.
All right.
FYI, you guys. Get an elevation view and see if it'll snap to that door.
I will.
It's
FYI,
doing
you guys.
it now.
Oh, this was replacing the side. Here I did add a panel. Okay, so panels are separate. And then my old dimension line wouldn't hit it. So then, you know, I made my changes to select panels now, and then I drew a new dimension line, and now it dimensions it just fine. So it looks like it will work if you turn those settings on before you draw the dimensions. Now, if I go to my elevation, and let's go here to the small elevation, and here's that cabinet with the panel. And let's just double click my dimensions here, see if I've got that turned on. Doors, drawers, panels. And now if I go in here, I suppose I could do auto dimension, but yep, there it is.
Yeah, so you have a panel on both sides.
Yeah.
Okay, so it is dimensioning. Yeah. It's picking up some other stuff too, but
well, it's because you might have corners. Oh, you know what? You know what it did grab? The problem with that is, Dan, scroll in right there. See, what it was grabbing was the door, because it was doors, drawers, and panels.
Yep.
So it's giving you that space difference between it.
It's getting the door, the space, the panel.
Yes.
It looks like there's a space.
Yeah, there's a space there, and we have no control over that space.
Okay.
Is it on the other side?
Hinges.
Yeah.
It's always there. It's on the front side too.
Interesting.
Oh.
Wonder why.
Oh, that's
well, because it's there to account for the hinge.
Yeah.
Yes,
so
I agree with you.
If you're building that to make it look like just a cabinet, that the sides are part of the cabinet, not applied, you can change the overlay on the doors so that it'll go over that panel.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Usually you would pull in that situation, we would pull the panels forward. I think you have control over pulling the panels forward.
Yeah. In this condition, I would do a no box cabinet that just has a door applied, and that way you can scoot it up right. You know, as an inset, you could scoot it up right up to the side of your cabinet and dimension it with your regular dimensioning tools.
Well, wouldn't you use, instead of doing a custom front, you would do a different object. There's a different drop-down menu of what you would choose, which actually would put a cabinet inside, make the side, change the width of the side. So it would, instead of being a plywood panel, it would be a cabinet door that would now become the side of that cabinet.
Yeah, you can do that. That's in the
it's in the drop down.
So,
well,
you want to cover that panel? Look at that. I can cover that and some more too if you want. So I don't know if that's a new setting that I never noticed before. But
what was that? How did you change that?
It's right here.
Oh no, that's existing. That's been around.
Okay. Yeah, I haven't used that for a while. But so
here's
if I
another
go
question. There's a question.
Mm-hmm.
An X17, when you insert a dishwasher, how do you get the front of the dishwasher door to be flush with the cabinet doors, and how do you get rid of the gap between the dishwasher and the countertop?
I put it in, if I'm doing a full overlay cabinet, if I'm doing a full overlay dishwasher with a full panel on it, I put it in, I put a cabinet in there, and then I change it to an appliance. But I use a cabinet. Same thing I do when I do a Sub-Zero refrigerator.
Up on the update notes again.
No.
Well,
no. I know that you can put that in, but he's asking when you put a panel on the front of it to get the panel to be matching.
No.
Just a dishwasher.
About inserting a dishwasher. The trick here is that Chief now just lets you place a dishwasher without a cabinet.
Right.
But
like
he's
this.
asking, how do you get it to be flush instead of having a little bit of a gap at the top and the bottom?
That's because he's trying to insert it into a cabinet, which you don't need to do that anymore.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, just set the depth.
Great.
Yeah,
So
you
there
just
it's
place the
3D.
cabinet now, Paul. Excuse me, you just place your appliance now, your dishwasher, and the countertop will automatically go over the top of it. So
how come it didn't do it on the left-hand side? What's that dishwasher that's sitting floating on the side?
Oops, wrong one. It's not against a cabinet. As soon as you touch the
As soon as
cabinet, it's going to put a countertop. And then see there, it's not the right depth.
will you show that again?
Sure.
You know, with purpose, so we can check this out.
If you put it between two cabinets, it'll work. Or if you just put it against a cabinet, it will work. It just puts a countertop over it.
Yeah. So we no longer need to insert that appliance. In fact,
that's the new way they do it, because people were getting too confused about, how to do appliances.
This is important to note. Go to your 3D panel on this fixture.
Hang on one second. And then to get it flush, if you want, just change the depth to the cabinet depth, and then it'll move the front in and out.
Well, I wouldn't do that because you're changing the geometry of it. You would do that in the
I knew you were going to say that too.
So there's multiple different things happening that changed here.
We could go to, was it sizing? Which one?
No, hold on. Just stay here for a second.
Okay.
Our fixture symbols used to be that in this panel, the 3D panel, we had a Y position offset. That's because they were inserted into the front face of a cabinet and they needed to be offset by their own depth. Okay. Now we don't no longer need that. Now, if you move to the options panel, there is an inserts into cabinet front option, which is a new option, and you could have either or. So there's where we set our front offset by whatever it needs to be pushed into the cabinet. That is independent of placing this and having the Y offset from the 3D panel. So you can have some value here so that you could still insert it into a cabinet, but that will not affect the positioning if it's not inserted into a cabinet.
So that'll work the way it
really
used
clever from Chief.
So that'll work the way it used to, where you have to insert it into a cabinet.
Yeah. So you could set this to, be 20 inches or whatever as an insert depth, and you could still insert it into a cabinet.
So, okay.
So what's the difference? Explain that again. Why would I use that? What's the purpose of that? So now I still have to use a cabinet and then put the dishwasher into a cabinet using that button.
This is just a global system now. It's giving us options to make objects to be either inserted into a cabinet or placed independently. And if they are inserted into a cabinet, have some kind of an offset. But if they're not have some kind of a geometric offset. So it's the system that we always should have had. I mean, it's actually, quite clever. So I have the option of either or, where maybe I can place, this appliance needs to be a perfect example would be like a microwave. Maybe we're taking a freestanding microwave and we wanted to insert it into a cabinet front because we want it part of the cabinet object.
Right.
But really, it's just a freestanding microwave that's in an opening in a full height cabinet. So now we have that option of automatically offsetting it into the cabinet versus placing it independently on top of a counter.
Got it.
Is that what I did? I was playing with that before too, trying to offset that microwave, and I went into the, how did I do that again? I went to edit the object, which was a microwave. Now I'm into the fixture specifications, and I believe I went to the 3D symbol and I did an offset in the X position. So that's not right.
You're saying now to do that under options.
You kicked it to the right 2 inches.
Right. So now if I go to options, okay, so there it's front offset.
There's your front offset. Yeah.
That's the front offset. That doesn't have anything to do with the sides.
Oh, you wanted to move it to the left or right?
I was just screwing around, just seeing if I could. And so that's why I went here, and I just said, well, I'm going to try it here, because that's the same thing where you can move things around just by typing in the offset number here. You could place the first, put some trays there or something, but you get the idea. Okay, cool.
Can you click on Mike's question? It's for me. Mike, I don't think, first of all, I don't believe in trends, and I really hate that term. I'm putting wood countertops in a kitchen right now, but I don't do all wood countertops. So on the right side of their range, we're doing a 36-inch countertop that is maple.
You're talking about post-form wood grain countertops?
No, I'm talking about, it's 3/4-inch solid wood. It's all sustainable wood from Oregon. So it's big leaf maple is what we're using. But I've done madrone and walnut countertops, and I still am doing them because they're easy to use, right? I can cut right on them. So I don't think they're going away, Mike. I think a good designer makes the space fit what the client's needs are. How does that sound?
Do you have a favorite treatment for that?
You know, I use a product that's from a sustainable company close by, and it's a food grade. Surface, you know, and I cut on my countertops. At my farm, we have 2 large working countertops that are.
You don't know what the brand is or anything, though?
I don't. There's a few different brands that I've used over the years, but it has to be a food grade finish. Yeah. Just make sure you're using that.
This question from Lance, temp dimensions need a little work there, missing with wall opening selected. Lance, I think this got fixed in the last patch. Go check it out, see if you're seeing the same behavior. And then we had another one from Mike.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
That was
just
cool.
had a builder send my plan through Ready Frame at Builder's First Source.
So, Mike, I have a question. How much editing did you have to do to the framing after the auto framing was done to make it accurate enough?
Well, that's a good question.
Well,
2,000 square foot house. Well, yeah, but if you know how to use the program, you could get a lot of auto framing done. If you know how to use it for framing, you get that done. How much editing would you have to do to make it accurate enough to use it?
In my opinion, if you set up your model correctly and with the right materials, and then you auto frame that house, I bet you in 10 minutes I could finish that with the manual framing.
I think that's correct. I just want to get Mike's perspective.
The one thing I know Mike is correct about, and I don't think they probably did not repair, is the rafter seat cut or something. One of the cut lengths in rafters is actually not quite correct.
Right.
Because Mike actually is unique. He cuts from his cut lists.
Right.
Wow.
Chief measures a rafter in the center of the board. So jack rafters are not going to be measured correctly.
Yeah.
Without doing some manipulation. But they actually generated a new plan from his PDF.
Wow.
But as far as framing for trusses and walls and floors, and the floors are probably the area where I would end up doing most of my manual editing, because maybe it's not quite putting them in the right place or something. So I might blast them out of there, delete them, and then stretch them back over with the right spacing. I might have to add my bridging and things like that manually, because I don't think Chief does bridging automatically for the floor or ceiling, if you're doing ceiling, but floors. There's some, the blocking and the trusses, things like that. If you wanted to add that, that would take a bunch of extra time. But if you're not, I wouldn't worry too much about that unless you really want it.
Can I have you show the new framing defaults and show what we might do?
Absolutely, that's huge. I haven't even really dug into those yet, but oh my goodness, this is like, you never used to be able to really you could set up for one floor, but now we can set up our defaults.
Will you go to framing members to start? Can we show those?
Members, I sure can.
I think this is so cool. And it looks like you already did some, or you're pulling from a new template or something, but I-joist versus joist lumber, like you could set up a bunch of different defaults,
right?
So that quickly on the fly, you're changing the type of lumber to match some spec that you have. So there you go. You're copying, existing one and changing it to an LVL, and
yeah, you could adjust what it is and what it's for, what its role is. So this is pretty big. I was thinking about
not only
this
that,
earlier.
but changing its label, changing the components tab for more accurate material list costing.
Oh, another thing they've added is, and I must not have this set up at all, but the sill plate can be specified to be treated now. and I
Mike's
was
funny.
I was
That could be done
looking.
before.
Well, I don't know. They said it was they said it was a new feature. I think it's maybe the bottom plate can be specified in a wall. This is something I haven't looked at yet. I was going to do this because I do a lot of basement stuff, and I always put the treated plates on the bottom of the wall framing in the basement on concrete floors. So is this a wall type thing? I haven't even looked at this, but under material framing, top plate, bottom plate construction. Okay, look at this. This is huge for me. Well, not huge. This is just another little time saver. See, right now it says use the same material as a stud. Well, no, we use treated plates. Okay, so now I'll be able to specify use treated plates on this wall type. So I could do interior 4, on concrete if I wanted to call this wall something different. So that's big because, I just do it because I just like doing that kind of stuff where I show the treated plates. But now I can, but every time I would move a wall, I'd have to, or every time I move something, I'd have to redo the framing, and then I'd have to recolor, respecify the plate to be treated.
Yeah.
Now it's just gonna be part of the wall itself. So that'd be cool.
Here, do this for me too, because this is kind of cool. Go back to your framing defaults.
You bet.
And so this is something you could do. Go to framing members again.
And what's manual framing mean?
2 up.
Teams, posts. Cool.
Cash,
Go to what?
Go to default up for your general
Framing members.
generic
One more
framing.
down.
My manly framing. Okay.
So
Which
go to
one did
framing
you?
member.
Okay.
And just make a copy of post, for instance.
Post. Copy.
And that's fine. Just leave it like that.
Copy. Okay.
And then I'm pretty sure we can we change the material color of this?
I was looking at that earlier and I didn't have time to finish looking for it. I didn't
Well, if
see
you go back to
anywhere.
full style, I think you can.
I didn't see where we could do that. There's got to be a way somewhere I can make it treated, but that only show that's materialless. That doesn't.
I was wondering if you can make a default framing member that was a load path color coded thing.
I would love that.
Wouldn't that be underlined? That's not underlined style.
No, it'd be under material style.
Vector color to change.
Yeah, it'd be under material style.
I'll have to dig into that.
Yeah.
Or what's framing types? What is that? What's that setting?
Framing types.
Okay,
can you
edit that real quick.
Steel wood concrete.
Yeah, it doesn't give you. Oh, you want to have it as a different color on your screen?
Yeah, material color.
Yeah, I do that a lot.
But can't you fill it differently? Can't you just put a different fill on there?
Yeah, but then it's all manual. You got to do it. If I want to show that.
I mean, usually we're showing this in a 3D view to show a load path.
If I want to show that's a bearing stud or bearing, a post or something, I have to color it manually. Again, not the end of the world. I have created materials that did produce automatically. We'll have to dig into that. That'd be a good one. Yeah, go ahead.
I'll show you a quick little thing I'm doing with. Anytime we get new defaults, we get an object information panel. Anytime we have that, we have the ability to make a bunch of custom schedules, and that can be derived from macros if you're a macro person. So getting defaults for framing members and getting defaults from roofs, which we got in X17, means that we can now do some automatic things just out of the box. So if I just draw out and build a floor, for instance, for this room, and I'll just toggle the display. And so here we go. I've got some joists that have been built. I have a system that drives all the information for my details, and that's derived from a custom schedule. Yep. So for floor framing, if I take this as an option from model and put it into place, and I'm going to just change what the framing, this is my floor framing here, and you can see it's not reporting anything. Well, all I have to do then is open this framing member and close it, and that should have set my framing member from the actual model. So now all my 75 details are driving their annotations from the actual model. And that's just because now we have framing defaults.
And this is for those people who are not using Renee's Pro plan. This is how easy. Once you learn how to use it, this is how it makes your life easy.
Yeah.
Which is amazing.
Yeah, because all of a sudden now I can go, to some cross section and see that all that framing's been updated, which is pretty cool. Anyways, that was it. What other things we got? I feel like we still have a
question. There's a question about deck rim joists. Is there a way to set a rim joist on a deck to be 1.5 inches and on the house to be 1.25 inches?
Well, yeah, they're separate. So if you go,
so here's your deck.
You just go to the railing setting in the deck, I believe.
Here's our deck, and then deck support. And so you've got deck beams or treated deck beams. We're talking about the rim, though.
The rim being
joist.
a different thickness on the deck than it is on the house.
Blank overhang.
I was assumed it was separate, so you could do it separate, but I've never ran into that.
Joist, 16 on center, and that's all we get. And then deck supports.
It would be under the framing default, probably. That's where you set the width of stuff.
for the room.
Yeah.
That's all grayed out. You'd get the floor structure, but I don't know how you would change the rim separate from the joists. Is that what we're talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think you could do that. I think you're going to have to manually change that.
I have done this. I know I've done this. Where have I done it? I've
changed the actual rim. Where's the comment? Can you pin it?
Yep. Hang on a second. Let me find it right.
Floor mount, build new raised.
There you go.
Another rim joist default for decks. I use a quarter rim for floors and
general
for decks. Yeah. No, I don't think we have that, Dan. Unless you.
Well, the main one I use is I want to do double rim joists under a deck. I've done this.
Kelsey says to check railing dialog box.
That's what I
did. The railing, and then that gets us our deck support.
I just looked at it, but I didn't see it. But maybe I am missing it. But I know it's there somewhere. Somewhere.
There was a few other things to check off. A few more things on this list, you guys. Can we go over the dimensioning? There was something, schedule column sorting and room perimeter and schedules. Are those? I don't know what schedule column sorting.
So room perimeter is just a new value that reports automatically to schedules.
But it would be in the room dialog box, right?
So if we just did a room schedule or room finish schedule, if we open this up now, we could get in our columns rows perimeter.
And when it's giving perimeter, is that the interior of it or is it the exterior? It's the interior perimeter.
I believe it would be, it's going to be the interior.
Okay.
So
I don't know why you would need that.
For doing some calcs, maybe.
Yep.
Maybe for molding, running your moldings. It'd give you a pretty
base.
Yeah. Maybe that's what that would do. And then there was something that said schedule column sorting.
Yeah, so we can sort by, but I thought we had this before. Because then we get a secondary. We can do a secondary sort by.
Oh.
That's new.
So if you had 3 bedrooms that were different sizes, you could sort it according to room area.
Oh, that's kind of nice.
After it says bedroom. Instead of labeling each bedroom separately.
Oh, I see. Okay. That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess Mike says perimeter times the wall height. It would be easier for painting, for doing a painting order.
Okay.
I mean, whatever. It's not like that's
we would do a real simple macro and just do that anyways.
Well, it's really easy to do just on your calculator too. I mean, it's 3 numbers.
Well, yeah, but you could screw that up. You don't want to screw it up. This limits reliability. So,
or use it as a double check number.
And then what's access labels for objects inserted into cabinets? Access labels
for objects inserted. Oh, that's just
Well,
that. You saw that when he placed an appliance in a cat. So let me see.
I could not get that label to turn on. I couldn't find it anywhere. So if you know where to do it, I'd love to hear about it.
So we got an oven cabinet here.
Yep.
And select that oven, and we get to edit the object.
Yep, did that.
And the label
did that.
Is
can you change the label to say like that's a Wolf electric range?
Change it to whatever you want. Yeah, just like any other label.
Okay.
And I'm reporting it to the fixtures label so that if I turn on the fixtures label, I don't know how this works either, to tell you the truth.
Access labels for objects inserted into cabinets.
You didn't turn the check mark on if that's what you were trying to do.
I did for fixtures labels.
No, you didn't. You clicked it, but you didn't turn the check mark on.
Display
fixtures. You still didn't do it. You still didn't do it.
What are you talking about?
I don't see a check mark there. Am I missing something?
Fine.
You highlighted it, but you didn't click the check mark. Oh, you did. Okay. Okay, I believe you now.
What is it? Some kind of an option or something?
I couldn't find it. I couldn't find it anywhere, so we're gonna have to.
Yeah, I think I remember looking at this and wondering,
Yeah,
what the heck?
I wonder if it's a glitch or something.
I wonder if it's on a different drawing group, so it's underneath some fill or something.
I couldn't find it.
Shouldn't be.
Anyway.
Oh, okay. Wait a minute. Camera view display show in this view. Maybe I had to have that checked. Nope.
All right. We'll have to dig into that one.
Hey,
Robin.
Wait.
Robin. No. What?
I have a question. For anybody, but if a symbol is made to go into a cabinet, like a dishwasher, is made to go into a cabinet, is it going to work properly if you just try to put it by itself without a cabinet?
Yeah, it will still prompt you and say it was meant to go in a cabinet, but
somebody made a comment that did not work for them. So I was wondering if that was the issue.
Let me see.
Did not work, or that it said that it was made to be in a cabinet.
It didn't put the countertop over top of it.
They might not have pushed it up next to another cabinet.
It has
to be next to another cabinet.
Yeah, after we showed that though.
Yeah. So they might have left a little bit of a space.
Here it is.
But see, now pull it away.
And then
no, they're just saying that they got that message, and that's true. It's still going to tell you that message, but you still can place it independently.
Yes.
Got it.
Okay.
If you've got one that's designed to be either or.
Could be an old symbol or something like that.
Yeah.
Okay, Robin.
Yes.
I understand you have a class coming up sometime over in the Portland area.
I am.
Is that true?
Oh my gosh, I am. I'm going to do a 2-day introduction to Chief. So it's for really beginners or more advanced beginners in Portland. It's going to be at the new Cambria showroom. Thank you, Dan. I really appreciate it. It's at the new Cambria showroom. So I'm doing that with Designer Sanity, Betsy Brandenburg, through her company.
It's so dark in your room.
I know, it's because I'm facing the lights behind me. I'm not set up for this stuff anymore. Anyway, it's going to be Friday night. We'll have a little happy hour get together, and you'll be able to set up your computers, and we'll go over the schedule and then of what we're going to be going on Saturday and Sunday.
Where can people find that?
On my Instagram page, which the information will be there, but I can put it I'll send it to you, Dan, and it'll be on your website as well. I can send you a link to it.
We'll post it on the website on chiefexperts.com.
And you could reach out to me if you want to. I can actually put my, I think I can chat. I don't know if I can.
Betsy have it on her website?
She does have it on her website. So
what's her website?
Designer Sanity. DesignerSanity.com.
Sanity.com.
Thank you, Dan. Yes.
Absolutely. Oh, look at you. You're right on the home page and everything here.
I know, it's pretty amazing.
Come on, go.
Are you going to show it?
I'm trying. Doesn't want to go. Can someone add my Oh,
I'm trying to add it too, and it's not going.
Because I turned the whole thing off. Oh, because Renee's
Yep.
in there.
All the shared screens are off now.
Okay.
You stopped sharing. That's why.
Yeah, Renee, you should have a Costa Rica training schedule. I love that.
So go to designersanity.com, and it's right there, and it's September 12th to the 14th. And you're going to, let's see if we hit register now. Does it tell everything about the class?
Gives you all the info. Yeah, we don't have a very, on Friday, we'll be covering the basic, Friday of the 12th, we'll be giving you the schedule of what we'll be doing, the agenda. And I can send that to you if you're interested. It's really for people who are just started using Chief and more advanced beginners.
So you're going to, you're just doing the whole plan. You're not doing just kitchens and baths and that kind of stuff.
No, we'll go through the whole plan. I typically have a small 2-bedroom house that we build. We take it from, it was a garage and we turn it into a 2-story house. Now, please understand, you guys, I'm not a building designer, so we're not doing it as a building designer. We're drawing it for more interior designer.
You're doing pretty well today, so I don't know. Don't underestimate yourself. So cool. Looks like a good deal. And there's Betsy. I'm assuming she'll be joining you too.
She'll be joining and talking a little bit about her program that she does as well.
Awesome.
Yes.
Cool, you guys. Go have fun. That's great.
It'll be fun. It'll be really a lot of fun. So thank you. I appreciate it.
You get to meet and hang out with the star herself. I mean, I'm talking about Betsy.
Thank you. Yeah, I get that. I knew where you were going with that.
You knew that was coming, right?
Yes, I did.
All right. How are we doing on time? Are we out of time?
No, we have 3 minutes.
3 more minutes. So you guys got anything you want to add?
I thought of a way to do that. I thought of a way to do that deck framing differently as far as the rim joist. There isn't any setting for it. You can look all day for that one. You won't find it. But there, under build framing, there's a setting for the rim joist for your typical build. But the deck framing follows the framing that is what you've set. So if you were to set the default to, purple 2x6s and build the deck first, and then turn off auto framing for the deck, and then build the rest of it.
Deck framing.
Pardon me?
There's a button to check to retain deck framing too.
Yeah. So you do that, and then you change it back to your typical joist and build the rest of the house. Then your deck framing will be different. Your rim joist will be different.
Mm-hmm.
But you have to do it in that order.
Right. But it beats selecting each thing and changing the size of it.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Dan, you need to talk about your Pro Academy. People are getting anxious for that thing to open.
By the way, if you open the rail, is it default? Let's see. Let me double check this. If I just go click on a railing, if you click on the railing default or the railing, and you go to right here, can't change the size of the joist, but you can make it a double rim joist versus single. All right. So that's under the structure tab for the railing. I knew that. I do this all the time because most of the time I want double rim joists on my decks. And that's how you could set that up. So then when you build the auto framing, it's going to put a double rim in. I don't know if there's a way, I haven't seen a way where we could set the rim thickness.
There isn't, as far as the deck goes, because it follows the thickness of the house rim. But you can change the order and do it. So you can set it.
Right.
Yeah.
There is under, where in the hell did I see that? There is a place now to set up. Oh, yeah, when you're, God, I'm really losing my mind here. There's a place now, when you're in the framing default for floors. This is, I love this one too, because when you're under structure now, and we go edit that, they added under framing. Now I can go define the thickness of the framing right here individually for that wall or that room.
But not the rim.
The rim is different. That's going to be on your framing defaults.
Right.
But at least I could say, well, for this one, for this room, I want these to be, 9 1/4 lumber. Where'd you go, lumber? L. Where's lumber? Framing. come on, just joist lumber. And then I can make it 1.5. So now this won't use the default for the whole rest of the house, where I might have it set for 2.5-inch I-joists. So now I can do individual rooms with different thickness joists. You couldn't do that before. In all of the previous versions, it was always you set the you set your default joist thickness. And that's it. You don't have any other choices. You have to go change them all manually. This is a big deal. That little box right there, because now I can set them up per room. So I like that one a lot. Pro Academy will be released in August. It's coming soon. Yeah, I've been working hard.
Dan.
Well, yeah, I've been working hard, but I haven't been working that hard, so that's why it's taken so long. So sorry, but I have been doing a lot of things under the hood and a lot of new trainings. I'll have a really amazing search engine so you can find something that you're looking for. A lot of new content. We're going to do live sessions twice a month like this, where it'll be just for the members, and we'll have a Q&A in the morning. We'll have a training later in the morning. We'll have a plan review in the afternoon. We'll have a training in the evening, twice a month on the first and third Wednesday of the month. So it gives everybody some good opportunity to get in there and ask questions and do things. Again, we'll record everything. There's going to be all sorts of content, new templates, new, I got a whole keystroke session I'm setting up that explains what all these different icons are that Chief has, and it's just a ton of stuff. So, and we'll continue adding to that regularly. So it's coming soon. So I don't have an exact date, but it will be coming soon. So it's summer now. It's too hard. You don't want to work too much. Sorry.
I have a live training. You and I have a live training coming up in October.
Oh yeah, that's right. Speaking of classes, we do have a class coming up. Are we still showing my screen? We are. Let me bring up a browser. As long as I had that open, then we go to Chief Experts Academy, and it's right at that, kind of like Robin was at the top. We're at the top of our page too. So in Robin, I'm going to add you to this too, so people have a choice to go to your class if they want.
Yeah, well, different parts of the country, Dan. I'm in Portland, Oregon.
Well, and we support each other. That's why we're here.
You. Absolutely.
So, and people might like you better than me anyway. So,
well, cuter.
I'll give you that. Yeah. But John and I are funnier. So come on. Anyway,
that's true.
So Bloomington, October 6th through the 9th. We're doing the first couple days beginner intermediate, and then the last 2 days are intermediate advanced. Take all 4 days if you want to get the most out of the class, and it's coming up in 79 days, 18 hours, 56 minutes. So check it out, and love to have you there. So please check that out. And again, with ours, you get we do set up membership where you'll get a recording of the sessions and all the different things we do in the class. I have handouts that we'll give you, and templates and a bunch of other stuff. So we give you a ton of stuff.
And then we're going to be at Chief
Coeur
Academy.
d'Alene.
Yes.
Coeur d'Alene.
I just signed up yesterday, Dan.
Oh, cool.
Yes.
So we'll all be there, and if
Kevin will be in town.
Kevin that's
Kevin's
great.
going to do our cooking. It's going to be great.
Yeah. I'll buy the first beer.
You could be our bartender. Just have our cocktails ready for us.
There you go.
Robin, I've been learning how to elevate my cooking lately.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I'll be interested. That'll be awesome.
All my time at it. Yep.
You start using Uber Eats. What?
Like I've always been a decent cook, but now I'm trying to become an excellent cook. So
that's really fun.
And if I know you, Renee, once you set your mind to something, you're going to excel at it. So
it's been very fun. I've had some real good meals this week.
That's great.
It's really a lot of fun. Then you become like me and you wake up in the morning and the first thing you do is you hit the cooking, the New York Times cooking app to find out what recipes you can do for the day.
Oh, nice.
We're going camping tomorrow, and I've already have my menu all done for camping. Like spices are all put together and everything.
Yeah. All right, cool.
Yes.
So anyway, we'll be there. Look us up, drop us an email, or and so we could meet up with you. I'd love to have you there. We'll get there Tuesday. We get to the airport. A bunch of us get in late morning on Tuesday, and we always go down to Main Street in Coeur d'Alene.
What's that restaurant called?
I don't remember, but just look for the tables sitting out in front. And
With
you'll
us
probably
at it.
see us.
Yeah,
We'll probably
wave.
see us there from like 1 to 3 or 1 to 4. Come and join us, and we'll post something online. I'll look up which restaurants are there yet. I mean, they've been changing a little bit, but and we'll see if we can have something specced out ahead of time so that you could just come and join us. Love to see you guys.
That
We have
would be
so
lovely.
much. We have so much fun when we arrive. I mean, one year I think we had 18 people at our table. It was just really a hoot. And
That showed
again,
up over a course of 3 hours.
I know that was
kept
really fun.
coming.
People were just walking by, and then oh yeah, they join us, and it was really a lot of fun. But it's a fun event, and so if you can make it, you'll have a great time. Chief does a really good job with their events, and this is they do 2 big events every year. They do this, and then they do the International Builders Show. Both of those
Or
are really,
KBIS if you want to.
well, KBIS, IBS. It's
IBS is such an unfortunate.
I knew you were going to say that.
Get her started.
Yeah. All right. Cool. And
come to Coeur d'Alene. It'll be a lot of fun, and it's really good training. So for those of you who are going to be there, let us know. It'd be great to see you.
And I'm going to go head up to my favorite coffee shop in the world. This is I'm in Sleepy Eye right now. We're helping out Andrea's mom, and I'm going to head uptown to the old Pix Theater. This is used to be the town theater. I used to go to movies here in high school. I used to pick up my papers in the front of this theater to go deliver them when I was a kid. So a ton of memories for me. Here's the theater. There used to be this doors weren't here. That used to be a little opening underneath here. But that's the same old thing.
Please tell me it is not pumpkin spice latte time already.
No, that's an old picture.
Okay,
so
that's
yeah,
unnecessary.
that's a little soon, but it they did some cool things. I think that's not the original ceiling, but these lights right here are original lights from the theater itself. They've got an old projector up here. They've got all the brick you can see where they took out the joists from the ceiling. They just did a phenomenal job. So it's a coffee shop / brewery. So they've got brewery on one side, coffee shop on the other, and the coffee shop can have food, but the brewery can't. So it's kind of interesting. So they do their own little beer for a little town. It's a 3,500 population, Sleepy Eye, and for a little bitty town, they're doing a phenomenal job with this place. And next door, they even added an event center. So they took over the store next door, and they added an event center. So it's really fun to see that this right here now is part of the whole thing with an event center, and just really someone has some really nice foresight here. So these small towns, they struggle. I mean, you got antique shops and exercise places and attorneys and accountants, and you don't have a lot of stores on Main Street anymore. The Main Street's only 3 blocks long, so it's not a huge town. But anyway, so they did this right. So I hope they're doing well. Anyway, I just thought I'd share that. It's kind of fun.
Nice.
So cool, you guys. Thanks everyone for being here. We'll see you in 2 weeks, or not 2 weeks, on the 1st of August. We'll keep covering new stuff. We're going to do plan review next time. So send us some of your plans. We'd be happy to go through them and offer you ideas and suggestions for your plans, or if you're stuck on something and you want a little help on how to fix it. If you get that to us ahead of time, we can be prepared for it and show you how to fix those things in your plan.
And we still haven't gotten through all the X17 stuff. So if there's more,
we'll continue doing that as we go with these different shows. So it's really kind of fun. It's just digging in. This is like this is our what we do to entertain ourselves, is find all these features and what they do.
Absolutely.
We live kind of boring lives. So
wait, is the place called Crickets? Is that what it's called?
That doesn't sound right.
In Idaho? That's across from the Big Rabbit.
Oh yeah. Yep. In downtown Coeur d'Alene.
Rabbit right there.
Your rabbit. The rabbit.
That doesn't look right though. Did they change it?
Those maps sometimes are outdated.
Yeah.
So we'll have to we'll kind of play it by ear, but it's usually a couple blocks there. There'll be a restaurant. We'll sit on the street, weather permitting. We usually have beautiful weather, and let's hope that continues. I see Vicky's got a hotel room to share. So if you guys want to share a room, I don't know how Vicky, if you look up Vicky Wooster on Facebook, maybe you can reach out to her. And someone else say they had something to share.
I got to meet up with Vicky. Vicky does stock plans. I want to start getting into that.
Cool.
Yeah.
All
Cool.
right, there's a connection. We're way over time. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you guys next time. Bye, everyone.
Thank you, everybody. Have a great day. Bye, you guys.